She slapped an old woman in the market. You won't believe what came after it. Welcome to African Folktales by Esther. In the city of Enugu, Uju moved like a queen. She lived in a quiet estate where neighbors knew her more by sight than by name. The slim figure, the confident stride, the careless way she looked through people instead of at them. Even in traffic, even in crowded streets, Uju carried herself as though the city existed to watch her pass. She was her parents' only child, and that fact followed her everywhere. Her father, a respected civil servant, never denied her anything money could buy. Her mother hovered around her constantly, praising her beauty, defending her flaws, excusing every sharp word that left her mouth. She is not proud, her mother would say, she just knows her value. At home, Uju never lifted a finger. House chores were for people who didn't have options. If she spoke rudely to visitors, her parents laughed it off. If an older person complained, her father waved it away. Leave her, he would say. The city has changed. These children are different. Uju grew up believing the world owed her softness, so on that afternoon at the city market, when bodies pressed against each other and sweat filled the air, she reacted the way she always did, without restraint. An elderly woman, frail and slightly bent, touched her arm gently. My daughter, please, which direction is the palm oil section? Uju's face twisted in disgust. She replied immediately with a thunderous slap on the woman's face. The sound cracked through the market like a gunshot. Conversations died. I stunned. Can you look at yourself? She snapped. Don't you see you're dirty? Why are you touching me? The old woman steadied herself and looked at Uju, not with anger, not with pain, but with something far worse. Come certainty, you will see, the woman said softly. Uju scoffed, brushed imaginary dirt from her arm, and walked away, heels clicking confidently on the concrete floor. She returned home untouched, beautiful, admired, unchanged. At least, that was how it seemed. But days later, Uju began to smell badly like a rotten animal, and it was so obvious that the atmosphere changed whenever she entered a place. But irony of it was, Uju couldn't perceive a thing. She wasn't aware of the smell until people began to cover their noses when she passed. At first, Uju's parents refused to believe it. Am I truly hearing that smell from Uju's body? But how can my daughter smell? Her mother snapped one evening, arms folded tightly across her chest. This girl bathes more than anybody in this house. Her father nodded in agreement. I can't understand it myself, but we can't deny the obvious. There's truly an odor emanating whenever she walks past. Uju, tired of the way people closed their nose and ran off outside, she asked her mother one day, Mommy, do I smell? Her mother looked away. The truth was too heavy to let out, but her mother's actions confirmed it all. Whenever Uju stepped into the sitting room, her mother opened the windows wide. Open it properly, her father added quickly, pretending not to notice the sting in Uju's eyes. Soon, her boyfriend, a rich promising young man, noticed it. He became suddenly busy. Stopped answering her calls, and when he finally showed up, he stood by the door, face tight. I can't do this anymore, he said. You smell. And it's getting worse. Uju cried heartbroken, because it all looked like a terrible lie. Because she smelled nothing, businesses she was involved with started losing customers. People whispered. Children laughed. Strangers avoided sitting near her. Slowly, her social cycle grew smaller. She stopped going out, not because she wanted to, but because the city made it clear she was no longer welcome. Her mother burned incense, sprayed air fresheners, and kept windows open even when it rained. Her father stopped bringing colleagues home. That night, she dreamed of the old woman she slapped in the market. She stood under a tree looking furious. You slapped me and called me dirty, the old woman said. Now the world covers their nose from you. Uju woke up drenched in sweat and breathing hard, but still, something kept her from revealing the truth to her parents. Finally, Her parents couldn't shy away from the truth anymore. Their daughter smelled badly and even them were uncomfortable. They decided to seek answers. They drove her to a renowned hospital. Blood tests, skin tests, and scans were carried out. The doctor insisted that there was nothing medically wrong with her. But the odor is real. Her parents argued on the way home. This is not ordinary, her mother whispered, gripping her handbag. Don't start that thing, her father snapped. We are educated people, don't bring superstition into this. They changed soaps, imported perfumes, herbal mixtures, expensive creams that promised miracles. Nothing worked. The smell followed her everywhere. Late at night, when Uju slept, her mother would cry quietly, praying prayers she never thought she would pray. Her father became short-tempered. He blamed neighbors. He blamed stress. He blamed everything except the possibility he feared most. This thing will pass, he kept saying. It must pass. Yet it didn't. The dreams became louder. Each night, the old woman mocked her in her dreams. One night, she decided to speak up. She woke up shaking, and whispered to her mother, crying and shaking. Mommy. Uju whispered, voice breaking. I have to tell you something, I think I know when it started. Her mother stepped closer, sitting beside her on the bed, hands trembling. What is it, my child? Tell me the truth. Everything. Uju's tears fell freely now, soaking her hands and the bedsheet. It started at the market, she choked. A woman. She touched my arm and asked me for directions. I slapped her. I called her dirty. I didn't even think. I didn't know. Our mother stiffened. You slapped someone? Yes. And I laughed at her. Uju cried. I didn't feel anything, I didn't even know it would turn out this way, that she was capable of making me smell. I don't even know where she lives. I don't know how to make it right. But I know whoever she is not ordinary because I keep seeing her mocking me in my dreams. After I slapped her, she just stood there and said something. And then all of this. She gestured wildly toward her body. Her room, the city outside, her isolation, the whispers, the smell she could not perceive, and then I started smelling. Her mother buried her face in her hands. Uju. Oh, Uju. She murmured, shaking her head. How could you slap a woman just because she asked you for directions? Why did you keep quiet all this while? This is worse than I imagined. But we will figure it out. We must. You cannot stay like this. You are my daughter. My only child. And we will not let this destroy you. Uju sobbed into her mother's lap. I'm sorry, Mommy, but I don't even know where she is. I don't know her name. I can't apologize. I can't make it right. What if this thing never leaves me? Her mother's hands gripped hers tightly. Then we find a way. There has to be a way. We will search. We will pray. We will do everything. But deep down, even she felt the weight of the impossibility. The said market is huge, crowds are endless. Worse still, there's no clue on how to find the woman, not even a name. She told their church pastor, and prayers for God's mercy intensified. That night, Uju fell asleep with dread pressing on her chest. Again she dreamt of the woman. This time she was standing in the same market where it all began. And there she was, the old woman, standing calm and unyielding, her eyes locking onto Uju's with a weight that stole her breath. You want this to end? The woman said softly, but each word reverberated in Uju's mind. I do. Uju cried, falling to her knees. Please. I'll do anything. Just make it stop. Please, I'm sorry I slapped you. I'm sorry I was rude. The woman's lips curved slightly, not a smile, not a frown, just something that chilled Uju to the bone. You slapped me because you were proud. You looked down on me, on everyone. You carried yourself as though the world owed you respect. And now, the world is showing you what that feels like. Uju's tears streamed freely. I'll change. I'll do whatever you want. Please, just tell me. The woman stepped closer. Her voice became gentle but firm. You will not simply beg. You will not seek prayers or herbs. To live this, you must learn humility. You must treat people with respect, care for the weak, and see yourself as equal to others, not above them. Only when you have truly done this will the curse lift. Uju's heart pounded. I can do that. I'll do it. The woman's eyes softened slightly. You will begin now, not later. If you want your life back, learn to stay humble and respect people. Only when respect becomes real in your heart will the world open to you again. Uju's knees gave way. I understand. I will change. The woman's hand rested lightly on her shoulder, not cruel, but heavy with meaning. Change begins with humility and respect. Fail, and you remain as you are, alone, mocked, and avoided. Then, as the dream faded, the market vanished. Uju awoke in her bed, trembling, tears still falling, the weight of the lesson pressing on her. She knew the road ahead would be long, painful. And that it was her only chance to restore what she had destroyed. The next morning, Uju woke stiff and trembling, but something had shifted inside her. Fear had softened into resolve. She no longer thought about perfume, scrubbing, or trying to hide the smell. Instead, she remembered the woman's words, humility and respect. She left her room slowly, avoiding mirrors, avoiding her reflection, avoiding the city streets that had once bowed to her beauty. Her mother watched silently, surprised at the sudden quiet determination in her daughter. Her first act was small, but it felt enormous. That day, Uju visited the market. As she approached, people closed their nose, others spat, but Uju ignored them all. Then she saw a young girl accidentally fell with a basket of tomatoes on her head, splashing it everywhere. Normally, she would have walked past without a glance, perhaps rolling her eyes at the child's clumsiness. But she bent down and helped pick them up, smiling gently instead of snapping. "Thank you, madam," the girl said, wide-eyed. "You're welcome," Uju replied softly. The words felt strange on her tongue, unfamiliar and yet freeing. Next, she visited a street vendor she had once ignored, buying a little more than she needed and insisting he keep the change. She bowed her head slightly as she handed him the money, a small act of respect that made her chest ache with humility. Even in her own home, she changed. She greeted her parents quietly and politely, listened when her mother spoke, and offered to help with chores she had never touched before. She scrubbed floors, washed dishes, and folded laundry without complaint, remembering how she had always demanded the world revolve around her. And then something happened. That night, in her dream, the old woman appeared again. She was not angry, but her gaze was still sharp. "You are beginning," the woman said softly. "But it's not enough. You must carry humility and respect in every word, every action, every thought. Only then will the world open to you fully." Uju woke up with a new determination. She had tasted the first step of transformation, and for the first time, she felt a glimmer of hope. Weeks passed, and Uju's efforts became steady. She no longer acted out of fear, but out of genuine care. Every day she practiced patience, kindness, and respect, not for the city, not for appearances, but for herself and others. Their neighbors were shocked at the peaceful soul she had become, and they loved her from a distance, and even though the smell kept them far away from her. Then, one evening, As she walked home from helping an elderly neighbor carry groceries, she felt something unusual. The air felt lighter, almost fragrant. The faint, invisible weight she had carried for so long seemed to lift from her shoulders. That night, she slept peacefully. And in her dream, the old woman appeared, not harsh, not threatening, but serene. "You have learned," the woman said quietly. "You have humbled yourself. You have respected those you once despised. You have understood that beauty is meaningless without kindness, and pride is meaningless without humility." Uju bowed her head, tears running freely. "I understand now. I will never forget this lesson." The woman extended her hand, and for the first time, Uju could reach her. The touch was warm, gentle, and soothing, like a river flowing through her chest. "You are free," the woman whispered. "Go into the world carrying respect and humility in your heart. Never forget what it feels like to be alone because of arrogance." When Uju awoke, the weight was gone. She walked to her mother's room expecting her to look uncomfortable. She could not even name what she feared. But when her mother inhaled, there was nothing. Just her daughter. Normal, clean, and free. Over the next days, the city responded. People stopped avoiding her. A neighbor smiled when she passed. The street vendor greeted her warmly. Uju smiled, not at her reflection, but at herself. She had survived fear, isolation, and ridicule, not because she was beautiful, but because she had learned to value others and respect herself. The old woman never returned, at least not visibly, but Uju felt her presence in quiet moments, a gentle reminder. Humility and respect were her protection now, not arrogance or beauty, and for the first time, Uju walked through the city unafraid, truly free. The curse was gone. The lesson remained. And Uju would carry it with her, always. This story is a gentle reminder that respect and humility are essential. True beauty and success mean little without treating others with kindness, dignity, and respect. Pride can blind you, arrogance and a sense of superiority can make you unaware of your own faults and blind to the feelings of others. Actions have consequences. One careless act, even in anger, can have far-reaching effects. Words and deeds leave a mark beyond what we see. Thank you for staying with me till the end. We meet again next time to share another lovely story. And do not forget to let us know what you have learnt. But for now, bye.